The world was shocked when Tina Turner died. With her went one of rock and roll's greatest legacies, but it turns out her final days held some heartbreaking details. The hair, the strut, the voice. It could only be one woman, Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll. Her real name was Anna Mae Bullock, and she grew up in Nutbush, Tennessee. When she was just 11, Tina Turner's mother abandoned the family, escaping an abusive relationship with Tina's father. She left her children behind without even saying goodbye. The incident left Tina feeling unwanted and unloved, and it would have a huge effect on her. 2 years after her mother left the family, her father remarried. Tina's father and his new wife moved to Detroit, but the children did not go with them. Tina and her sisters were sent away to live with their grandmother in Brownsville, Tennessee. Abandoned first by her mother, then by her father, Tina began making her own way in the world. Sadly, Tina's grandmother passed away when she was 16. At the funeral, she was shocked to see the woman who abandoned her so many years earlier, her mother. Her mother asked Tina and her sister to move to St. Louis and live with her. With no family and no caregiver to speak of, Tina felt alone, and joining her mother was her only choice. While in high school in St. Louis, Tina Turner often went to nightclubs with her sister. One night at the Manhattan Club, she watched a performance that would change her life. The band on stage was Ike Turner and the Kings of Rhythm. Tina was captivated by their music and decided she wanted to sing with them. At first, Ike Turner ignored her requests, but Tina wasn't discouraged. One night, during the band's intermission, she sneaked onto the stage, grabbed the mic from behind the drum kit, and began to sing. That moment was a turning point for Tina. Ike Turner was blown away by her voice and asked her to sing some more. Tina took over the show, singing with the band all night. Later, Ike invited her to join the band as a singer. The Kings of Rhythm had found their new queen. At first, Ike and Tina weren't a couple. In fact, Tina was dating Raymond Hill, the saxophone player in the band, which is where things started to get complicated. During her final year of high school, Tina became pregnant with Raymond Hill's child. When she told her mother, the response was harsh. Her mother kicked her out. With nowhere else to go, Tina moved in with Hill, who was living with Ike Turner at the time. Tina gave birth to a son, Craig, but shortly after, Hill left to return to his hometown, leaving Tina and their son behind. Her mother had already severed ties with her, and now Tina was left to raise Craig on her own without any family support. The music and the band became all she had. Although Tina was likely scared and alone at the time, she made the most of every moment. At just 19 years old, with some vocal coaching from Ike Turner, she recorded her first song, Box Top, sharing the credits with the band. Around this time, Ike Turner had written a song for Art Lassiter and booked a studio to record it. Tina was there as a backup singer, but when Lassiter didn't show up, she convinced Ike to let her take the lead vocals. Ike agreed, planning to erase her track later and insert Lassiter's vocals instead, but something unexpected happened. Tina's performance was so powerful that Ike decided to send the tape to Sue Records, an R&B label in St. Louis. The response was beyond anything Tina had ever imagined. Juggy Murray, the president of Sue Records, was blown away by Tina's vocals and bought the rights to the song from Ike for a hefty $25,000. He also told Ike to make Tina the star of the show. With a big cash incentive, Ike agreed and officially gave Tina the stage name Tina Turner. Her first single, A Fool in Love, which had originally been intended for another artist, became a smash hit. From the start, Ike Turner controlled Tina's career. He even trademarked the name Tina Turner so that if she ever left the band, he could replace her with another female vocalist and still use the same name. This was a major red flag that Tina sadly ignored. It marked the beginning of a troubled relationship where Tina would have to fight for her name, her music, and even her life. So, how did Ike and Tina become Ike and Tina? It was at a party in 1960, around the same time A Fool in Love was released, that Tina and Ike became romantically involved. Another musician at the party was flirting with Tina, so she sought refuge in Ike's bedroom. It was there that the relationship became romantic. But there was a major complication with this new situation. Believe it or not, at the time, Ike was still living with his common-law wife. This should have been another warning sign for Tina, but unfortunately, it wasn't the last time Ike would be unfaithful. In fact, he continued to date other women openly during their relationship. But Tina would have to face bigger challenges soon enough. The band became known as the Ike and Tina Turner Revue. They toured relentlessly across the U.S., with Tina taking the country by storm thanks to her high-energy performances and spectacular shows, alongside a group of backup singers and dancers called the Ikettes. Meanwhile, Ike remained in the background, leading the band. The show became so popular that they headlined for integrated audiences in the southern United States, breaking down barriers between white and black crowds and blending Motown with rock music successfully. Tina Turner had been wearing wigs since the beginning of her career, and they became a signature part of her brand. But why wigs? It wasn't about vanity, it stemmed from insecurity. Tina always felt she was unattractive, and she thought her unique voice sounded strange. To compensate, she wore extravagant wigs, heavy makeup, and wild dresses, often changing several times during a show. This distinctive look was also one of the reasons she danced so much. It set her apart from other female stars of the time who were primarily singers. In 1960, Tina and Ike had a son named Ronnie. By 1962, the family moved into a home in Los Angeles where Ronnie, Tina's first son Craig, and Ike's two sons from a previous relationship all lived together. Although Tina was concerned about raising a family and touring constantly, Ike didn't seem too concerned. He was determined to make it in show business, and often used violence to get what he wanted. Ike insisted they get married in Tijuana, Mexico. After a lackluster civil ceremony, he took Tina to an adult entertainment venue, where she saw things that left her feeling deeply uncomfortable and humiliated. It was nothing like the joyful wedding day most brides dream of. The night was a disaster, and Tina was so embarrassed by the experience that she didn't speak about it fully until many years later. When they were first married, Tina told Ike she didn't want to change her name and shared her worries about the demanding tour schedule. But instead of understanding, Ike reacted with anger and violence. Sadly, this marked the beginning of a long pattern of physical abuse in their relationship. There were times Tina had to perform with visible injuries, putting on a brave face despite what she was enduring behind the scenes. It was a heartbreaking way to live, and eventually, it became too much. Ike's frequent substance abuse, erratic behavior, and ongoing mistreatment took a serious toll on Tina's mental and physical well-being. Years later, Ike would be diagnosed with bipolar disorder. He also made no effort to hide his unfaithfulness, often flaunting his relationship with other women in public. In 1971, the Ike and Tina Turner Revue scored their biggest hit with a cover of Creedence Clearwater Revival's Proud Mary. The song reached number 4 on the charts, won a Grammy Award, and made Tina a star in her own right. Her talent was undeniable. She performed at sold-out venues and on national TV, but behind the scenes, things were falling apart. The stress, isolation, and relentless emotional strain pushed Tina to a breaking point. In 1968, she attempted to end her life. Thankfully, she survived. The painful moment brought a new sense of clarity. She had to leave, just as her mother once had. When Tina finally divorced Ike, her strained relationship with her mother worsened. Shockingly, her mother sided with Ike, saying he was responsible for Tina's success. After the separation, Tina was left with almost nothing. Not even the rights to her own name. She lived with her 4 children and a personal assistant, relying on food stamps to get by. But worse than the poverty was the fear. Local troublemakers would shoot at her house or car. The situation was so frightening, Tina began sleeping in a closet while her assistant kept watch in the children's room. This frightening chapter of her life only strengthened Tina Turner's resolve. Her divorce from Ike Turner was finalized in 1978, officially cutting the last ties to her painful past. Tina's requests in the settlement were modest: 2 Jaguar cars, some furs and jewelry, and most importantly, the right to keep her stage name. Tina Turner would go on to become her most powerful asset. But at this point, her comeback was still a distant dream. She was starting from scratch, determined to climb her way back to the top. What followed would become one of the greatest comebacks in rock and roll history. After her divorce, Tina's music career stalled. She continued to tour, but many saw her as a nostalgia act. She performed in cabarets, hotel lounges, and small clubs, while also dealing with lawsuits from canceled shows and broken contracts following the collapse of the Ike and Tina Turner revue. In an industry that often overlooked women, especially Black women in their 40s, it seemed no one was willing to give her a second chance. In 1973, during some of the darkest days of her life, a friend introduced Tina to the Buddhist practice of chanting. It became a source of strength and clarity, helping her find the courage to forge a new path. During the toughest moments of the 1970s, Tina sometimes chanted for up to 4 hours a day. Decades later, she even met the 14th Dalai Lama. Despite setbacks, a shift in the music industry would soon help bring her back into the spotlight. The early 1980s marked the rise of music videos, and with the guidance of a new manager, Tina released a cover of Ball of Confusion. The single saw modest success, and she became one of the first Black female artists to appear on MTV, marking a significant breakthrough at the time. Momentum was finally building. In 1983, another single helped her gain traction, though not in the United States. Instead, it was Europe, and particularly the United Kingdom, that began to embrace Tina Turner as a solo act. The United Kingdom welcomed her without the baggage of her past. In Europe, she stood on her own, and few even associated her with her old band. It was a clean slate. That year marked a turning point, one of the most pivotal in her career. At 45, Tina Turner was finally becoming a star in her own right. Capitol Records offered her the chance to record a full album, but there was a catch. It had to be done in just 14 days and in a studio in the United Kingdom. With help from top British musicians, the album came together quickly and would soon change everything for Tina. The result was Private Dancer, a massive success that made Tina Turner one of the most iconic performers in rock history. With hit singles like the title track and the chart-topping What's Love Got to Do With It, the album became a global phenomenon. It sold millions of copies and signaled Tina's ultimate triumph, not just in music, but in life. Tina Turner had reclaimed her voice, her name, and her legacy. Even after her hugely successful comeback, Tina's career had setbacks. In 1991, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted Tina, but they didn't recognize her as a solo artist. Instead, the hall inducted the Ike and Tina Turner revue. Luckily, Ike missed the ceremony. Tina also passed on attending. Unsurprisingly, the idea of sharing the spotlight with her abusive ex-husband wasn't her idea of a good time. While doing interviews as part of the promotional tour for her memoir, My Love Story, Tina told the New York Times that she had forgiven Ike Turner, However, it was clear she did not forget. He asked for one more tour with me, and I said no, absolutely not. Ike wasn't someone you could forgive and allow him back in. Ike Turner struggled with addiction, and his erratic behavior led to multiple stints in jail and rehab. In 2007, he passed away from an overdose while also suffering from a terminal case of emphysema. Tina did not attend his funeral. In 1986, Tina Turner arrived at Heathrow Airport in London, where she met Erwin Bach, a German music executive sent to greet her. The two immediately connected and started a meaningful, lasting relationship. Tina stopped touring in 2009. She said her heart just wasn't in it. In media interviews, she repeatedly claimed that she had no desire to perform or tour ever again. Tina and Erwin were together for more than 3 decades and eventually married in 2013. But just weeks after their wedding, life threw Tina an unexpected challenge. 3 weeks into their marriage, Tina suffered a serious stroke that temporarily took away her ability to walk. Yet in true Tina Turner fashion, she faced this challenge head-on and worked tirelessly to regain her mobility. Unfortunately, her health battles weren't over. In her 2018 memoir, My Love Story, Tina opened up about her struggle with intestinal cancer in 2016. During this difficult period, she faced some of the darkest moments of her life. Tina pursued alternative treatments, but they led to complications, including kidney failure. As her health declined and hope seemed to fade, Tina was forced to confront her own mortality. But just when things felt completely hopeless, a remarkable gesture changed everything. Her husband, Erwin Bach, stepped in and offered to donate one of his kidneys. The transplant was successful. From that point on, she quite literally carried a piece of her husband with her, a symbol of their deep bond and unwavering support for each other. Just after she beat cancer and recovered from her kidney transplant, Tina's life was rocked by another devastating tragedy.
For exclusive perks like early access to new videos, priority replies to your comments, and to have your say on future content, consider becoming a Factinate member. On top of that, your support helps keep the channel going. Click the link in the description for more details.
In July 2018, her son Craig took his own life. Craig Turner was Tina's first son with Raymond Hill. He was 59 when he died. Tina scattered her son's ashes into the ocean off the coast of California, where he had lived. Tina Turner never felt she was a rock goddess, even though the public saw her that way. In interviews, she said she was built like a pony and that her legs and arms were weird and not very attractive. The rest of the world very much disagreed. Tina Turner passed away on May 24th, 2023 at the age of 83. While her passing came as a shock to many, those who knew her story understood what a miracle it was that she had made it so far. After decades of personal hardship and health struggles, Tina's strength never wavered. She was a true survivor to the very end. In her final years, she found peace in her beautiful mansion, which overlooked Lake Zurich in Switzerland. Outside her home, a sign in German gently reminded visitors, "Do not ring the bell before noon." It was a reminder that even rock legends need to rest. Tina Turner gave the world her voice, her story, and her spirit. She wasn't just a star. She was simply the best, and she always will be. If you enjoyed this Factinate video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more incredible stories. Want a say in who we cover next? Join our membership program through the link in the description for exclusive perks. Your support means everything to us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.